So Vidyarthi asks, did you use AI ChatGPT for essays? If yes, then how? For content, for dimensions, how can we utilize AI?
So I
Yeah.
utilized AI in various aspects of essay preparation. The most I used it was for content. I did not have the time and the luxury to read almost everything that I could write in the paper. So I used as ChatGPT for various things that I would be preparing, the content that I would be preparing. Let me share my screen, if it is possible, to show you just how I went about it. So can you see my screen?
Yes, Puru, it's visible.
So this is a note where I distilled down what I talked with Sabir sir, and I'll just go to psychology. So I wrote down some concepts like Dunning-Kruger effect, confirmation bias. These were taken from ChatGPT, and some of which I could understand. Similarly, I prepared a list of poems which I might use in the paper, like if, be like the bird, stopping by woods, Invictus, road not taken, Dylan Thomas, Psalm of Life, etc. Anecdotes from articles, Knife, the book by Salman Rushdie after being attacked. Literature. If I have to write on deception, then it is much ado about nothing. If I have to write about wisdom, it's the old man and the sea. So I did all this spade work, which to prepare myself enough for the content. And ChatGPT was useful. I also, when I went to Sabir sir and when he gave all the advice, I was overwhelmed with that. So I just tried to pen it down to ChatGPT and summarize it, find me the principles uh, for it. So I used ChatGPT profusely.
My
Yeah,
God, this
so
is a
I think,
different brain. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, Dev.
Shabbir, I was going to say that at the risk of sounding repetitive, this is another sort of Zen moment in the discussion. I'm reminded of the saying that if you want to learn about the trees, go to the forest. That's what they say. And what Puru is saying is that if you really care, first understand what's going on, go to it. And if you really care about climate change and you have gone to a beach and seen plastic strewn all over, you will have a very different view of the world if you have touched and felt the thing that you care about. So a lot of us, unfortunately, live in a world where we stay in our living rooms and we don't interact with the world in the way that is deep enough for us to build these perspectives. So that's just a wonderful piece of thought and very deep. And one more very superficial thing to add to the AI piece is that if you don't really have the time, Yuki also gives you the arguments. So you just put the essay topic, it will give you the introduction, it will give you 5 arguments, it will give you the conclusion, it will give you some examples. So all that is ready made. So absolutely use that. um, uh, Puru used it for content. You could also use it to brainstorm. So, like, I'm taking Puru's example of asking questions to the topic. One of the ways I use AI is I get the topic and I ask all sorts of questions to the topic using AI, because sometimes I don't have the time to kind of go through in depth, because you might have 6 or 8 essay topics. You might find 2 or 3 you really care about, but there might be other dimensions that you haven't really focused on or you haven't really cared much about, but you still want to have those inputs. So that brainstorming is something you can also do.